All right, guys, we are in a new space today. We are recording out of my friend's office because my office has flooded, so I'm looking for a new recording space. And as a perk, I'm getting to record with the Shure MV7, so we can see how much we like this audio versus the Blue Yeti Nano, which is what I record most of my other videos on. So let's get into it. You know what most podcasting advice on the internet tells you to focus on? It's things like what kind of mic to use, whether you should edit in Audacity or Descript, what kind of lighting you need. And really, a lot of it is focused on how to make you look like a professional. But as someone who has produced countless episodes for shows like Where Should We Begin with Esther Perel, or Together Apart for the New York Times, or even the show that was deemed one of the best podcasts of 2022, one of my favorites that I've ever made, This Is Dating, I would tell you that while those things matter, they're really not what makes a podcast really work. So today we're going to cover the 3 things that I focus all of my attention on when I'm beginning a new show. And once you see these 3 things, you will realize how much simpler it is to start a podcast that people actually want to listen to. Now, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Hiwote. I'm a podcast producer and the creator of the Emerging Voices Podcasting Accelerator. And I've just spent years watching really brilliant people who have great ideas not bring their ideas to life because they weren't sure how to do it. So my job is to help you do exactly that. And if that sounds like you, you'll want to download the 10-step guide to launching your podcast. Now, let's get into the 3 things. So number 1 is the story. And when I say story, I mean the foundation of your show. A lot of people will come to me and say, you know what, I really want to make a show about wellness, or I really want to make a show about fitness, or I really want to make a show about zebras. And that's a starting point. But a topic is not a story. And a story without stakes is not really a show. If you think about any of your favorite shows, you will notice that at the core, there is something really important that's at stake, and that's why you keep listening to the show over and over and over again. And the truth is that every episode also brings up the thing that's at stake. As an example, let's look at a show I've been listening to a lot lately. It's called You Make Sense. And on this show, Sarah Baldwin, the host, is a therapist who walks us through how to actually regulate our nervous systems and create whatever it is that we want to create in our lives. Now, the bigger topic for this podcast, I guess you could say, is like self-improvement or helping people achieve their goals. But the thing that's at stake for Sarah's listeners is an unfulfilled life. And Sarah understands this really well, which is why in every single episode, the stakes feel really clear. She names them. She'll say things like, hey, if you're feeling like you are not living up to your highest potential, I'm here to tell you it is possible. And here is how you do it. So if you're able to really understand what is at stake for the characters in your episode or your listeners, then you are much more likely to have a really clear story that you can deliver on episode over episode, okay? And this brings us to the second thing, and that is understanding your ideal listener. Now, I want to make sure when I say understanding your audience, I don't mean just understanding their demographic data. I hear a lot of people say, yeah, I know who my audience is. They're like 25 to 45-year-old women who live in a metropolitan city or something to that effect. And to that I say, okay, good start, but that is not really what we are looking for. That is just a high-level descriptor of the kind of person that might listen to your show. Now, the problem with that is when you make a show for that kind of broad description, your show is going to feel quite generic. And the reason for it is because there are so many different kinds of people that fit within that bracket that you have just laid out, right? When I say understand your ideal listener, understand your audience, I mean get a really clear sense of their psychographics, okay? Understand the psychology of the person who is coming to your show. All right. This doesn't mean that's the only kind of person that will benefit from listening to you, but it's super helpful for you to know that person because it means you can make something so specific to them that they will appreciate you, love you, keep coming back to you, and you can really build a sense of community and actually be useful to them for the long run. I'll give you an example. When we were making This Is Dating, we could have said, you know what? Our ideal listeners are daters. The issue with this is that that a lot of different people fall into that category of daters. So who we were actually making the show for were women in their late 20s, 30s, a little bit into their 40s, who had been online dating and felt really frustrated by it. And they're really thoughtful, they're really smart, they're really analytical, so they are thinking a lot about how to date better. So when we made the show, it felt really resonant with them because it wasn't generic, right? We were talking about things that they were already thinking about. Things like, is the modern way of dating, is it actually viable? Are there things that I'm not focusing on? Is chemistry a real thing or not? Is the fact that I have a checklist of the kind of person that I want to date, is that problematic or is that actually helping me? Do you see what I mean? Like, if I can understand the psychology of this person, then I can make episodes that actually resonate with them in such a meaningful way. And you might hear this and you might think, but it's not just one kind of person. There are different kinds of people that listen to the show. That's perfectly fine. Actually, in Emerging Voices, we do an exercise where we get you to get super clear about two people. One is your primary listener, the person that is coming to your episodes because they already vibe with what you're saying. They're already fully on board. And the other is a secondary listener. This is someone that might sit at the far end of an auditorium if you were having a live show. They might not pay top dollar for your live show, but they're curious and they're intrigued, and it's something that they think about peripherally. So I really encourage every single person that I work with to get super clear on who their singular ideal person is. I actually do this even with this channel. Like, my ideal listener's name is Alicia. She is in her 40s. She has risen to a level in her career that she's like, cool, you know what? I've done the thing, but I want more creativity. I want more inspiration, and I want to use my voice. So if you have such a clear sense of who this person could be, it might even be someone you know. It's definitely someone that I know. If you can make something for that person, you are so much more likely to create a podcast that people love and can't wait to listen to episode over episode. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, you know what, that's cool and all, but like, I'm trying to create a podcast because I have some things to say. You know what I mean? Like, this is not just because other people want it. I want to say some things that I have on my heart and in my mind. And that brings us to the third thing, your taste. Okay. So this is my absolute favorite thing because nobody talks about this, but it is maybe the most important part of making a show that is truly yours. Your taste is infused into every part of who you are. It is the guests that you choose. It is the topics that you talk about. It is the way in which you talk about the things that you are interested in. It's the clips that you choose to include in your podcast and the clips that you don't want in it. It is everything that makes you to the outside world. Now, if you think about your favorite podcast, you will notice pretty quickly that they have a very specific set of things that you like about them that makes them them. Right? So if we go back to the You Make Sense podcast, to Sarah Baldwin's show, the things I love about that show are that Sarah Baldwin is quite gentle, but firm. So she has this approach of like, you know what? We're going to get you to where you want to get to, but also this is not a space where you get coddled. And I really resonate with that. So I keep listening to the show. And I think many of us just ignore our own taste, especially if you've been in corporate environments, and especially if you're a woman in a corporate environment. Most of us are taught to like neutralize our tastes. And the problem with that is that your taste is the thing that distinguishes you. So I really want to encourage you to make something that A, stands out as a thing that is uniquely yours, that is infused with your life experience, your personality, the way that you and only you can do things, while also being mindful of what other people want. Now, trusting your own taste is not an easy thing. You have to do it repeatedly for you to really understand really what your taste even is and whether it is safe to trust it. And you can't do this theoretically, okay? You have to infuse your own choice voices into your episodes. You have to infuse your personality into your intros and your outros and make it clear that nobody else could have made this show because this is you and you only coming through on the microphone, okay? If you do that, it's inevitable that your ideal listener is gonna listen and feel like, I don't know what it is, but I just really resonate with this person. And it's because you're being genuine, you're being yourself. You're not trying to make the next Daily or the next Stephen Bartlett podcast, what is it called? Diary of a CEO. You're being you and you're making your own show, which is honestly, I'm gonna use a word I haven't used in a while, irresistible, okay? It's irresistible when you're being who you really are. So give us some of that energy. Okay, so those are the 3 things: your story, your audience, and your taste. Now, if you want my help infusing these kinds of ideas into your particular show, that is exactly what we do in the Emerging Voices Accelerator. You get weekly coaching calls, you get personalized feedback, and you even get a community of other incredible podcasters who are making their shows alongside you. And if that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of, apply to the Emerging Voices Accelerator using the link below. I will see you in the next video.